Are you planning to buy a new Toyota RAV4, a Lexus RX, or no? How about an American car, Dodge Charger? Well, get ready to pay 25% more. Let's do this.
I don't plan on buying any of those, so I'm good.
Yeah, well, neither do I. By the way, if I appear to be looking up a little bit, I'm just the way my camera has to sit, and so I got to kind of look up at the screen a bit. But that said, we got a number of things that we're going to get into today. A lot of them are going to be technology-based AI stuff, obviously. But starting off with what you saw at the beginning, in the intro, as everybody I'm sure knows now, a certain president has imposed the 25% tariffs on vehicles made outside of the country. The reason I mentioned those three particular vehicles, the Toyota RAV4, the Lexus RX, and the Dodge Charger Daytona, I'm actually not 100% sure about the non-Daytona versions. I think there's other Dodge Charger versions, right?
There's
been a long time since I've been able to afford to buy one. Never. But however, fantastic vehicles. It's just that if you want to buy one in America, 100% of them are manufactured in Canada. So I know everything's, well, we'll just manufacture them here. You have to change every single thing you do. It'll cost millions of dollars just to swap that out. It would take months and months and months and months just for that one model of car. And nearly half the parts are manufactured in Canada from Canadian steel. So, right. It's going to cost a lot of money. So basically, yes, Americans are going to pay more. And is it going to hurt Canada? Well, not so much, because guess what? That difference in price, well, we're basically going to be paying the same money in Canadian dollars that you're paying in American dollars for the same car. And we do like Chargers here.
who doesn't?
They're a powerful vehicle. They are. They're quite good. What's your take on it? I know you don't want one of those, but I'm going to be, before you say anything, I wouldn't turn around and buy a Tesla. I'd like to have an electric car, but I guarantee you it'll never be a Tesla.
Well, no, I will never buy a Tesla. And just as you were talking, though, about the steel situation, it made me think that Musk's Cybertruck is a steel body.
Oh, but you know what?
He just screwed himself.
Well, not necessarily. It's not like Americans don't make steel. I mean,
I know that. Yes.
Where is it? Where's the steel? What do they call steel ton?
American Steel Company is. Yeah, it's on Pittsburgh, and there's two or three steel manufacturing plants.
Yeah, well, there's more than those. Those are just the big boys, right? I mean, automakers would go to places like that, building manufacturers, and for girders and whatnot. In Canada, it was I'm not sure if it's still true, but it was traditionally Hamilton, who was also but it was also referred to as Steel Town for a long time as well. It might still be, I'm not sure. So it's both countries are not really going to be hurting terribly for steel. In the long run, both countries can produce world-class, top-quality steel with 250 years of knowing how to do it.
Well, the issue is that you're going to have to, as the U.S., if you're going to replace these parts, just like you said, you're going to have to retool stuff to start manufacturing them. So you're talking not only a capital investment by the auto manufacturers, but you're also talking about the amount of time they got to take a plant offline to retool it, because you can't make cars while you're retooling it. So there's a whole process that goes through.
Do you know where a great deal of, and I'm not sure how many manufacturers actually use them, but certainly General Motors use, what's it called? Magna International. Like, basically, many of the cars that aren't even manufactured here, some of them in Mexico, some of them, and a lot of them in the U.S., a great deal of the parts, engine parts, electronics parts, and whatnot, are manufactured at a company that's actually, I guess, about 8 miles north of where I live. So, and they're well known. I mean, it's international. It's in their name, and that's where people get their, not people, companies get their parts for. Like, if you need to go get, I can't even think of the name of parts. I'm going to embarrass the hell out of myself. It's been a long time since I worked on a car.
You're going to reach your carburetor,
newer car, yeah.
Your 4-barrel?
Actually, yes, because there still are cars that like that, but just not your average, run-of-the-mill car for the family. But there are still cars like that, and they do actually manufacture for that for other companies that sell to the private market. They still manufacture that stuff. So, I mean, let me put it this way: General Motors doesn't manufacture engine parts. They basically design a motor, and they may make, the engine block, but the steel comes from somewhere, and it may or may not be American or may not be Canadian. But almost every other part in that engine is, some of it coming from the States, but a lot of it, regardless of the American car, is coming from one or two companies in Canada. So that's 25% on the cars. I don't know if that applies to those or if that falls into that other, what is it, 20%, 30%? I don't remember the other tariffs, but they are, those
is any over 25? I thought they were all just 25.
Well, it could be. I just don't remember, because
he's changed it so many times.
Flip-flopping and it's 100% tariff. It's going to be a 50% tariff. It's going to be a 10% tariff. It's going to be a 20% tariff. Man, you need to lay off the Sambuca, old man. Anyways.
Yeah, it's in all reality, I'm sure there's some things that are affecting people right now. But I think probably in all reality, people aren't going to really feel the pinch until it comes towards the end of the year. I think that's when people are really going to start to see, the price increases that are actually going to start hurting their wallet.
Oh, yeah.
Like right now, I mean, our gas is still, my gas actually went down here. It's like
ours finally
a
did.
gallon.
Ours finally did. They said it was going to, and it finally went down today after going up 15 cents when they said it was going to go down 10. So and that's liter, by the way, not gallon. We do liters here. So if you think about that, it's like 4 times more expensive than your gas, but
yes. We talked about that one time a while back.
Yeah,
you were paying like $5 something a gallon when ours was like $2.10 a gallon or something.
Yeah.
It's
and just put that into perspective. When we won't even go there. Let's not even go into that part of it. Beyond that, what were we going to talk about? I wanted to, I'm not even segueing. I mean, I'm doing a leap here. Sorry about the plosives there. I wanted to bring up, what was this? Sorry, I'm bringing up an article that in the background here that you can't see. I'm trying to figure out who wrote this, because I want to at least cite where I got it, but it's one of those sites that I can't tell what the name is. Nonetheless, it mentions Google has officially announced a significant update to Gmail designed to enhance user experience, boost functionality. The thing about it was a revamped user interface for better navigation. You know what? They do that every few years, and half the people think that's a good idea, and half the people think it sucks. We all get used to it and then forget. Smarter email composition with AI-powered tools. This, am I reading the wrong one? Is this the one that was put in recently? Or is this from months ago? Because I may be looking at the wrong one.
I don't know what you're looking at, so I can't.
Oh, no, it is, because it mentions deeper integration with Google Workspace. So, no, it doesn't. It doesn't mention what I was expecting it to mention. So I may be reading the wrong one. I may have to apologize profusely now. As I'm bringing up the wrong one. Well, the one I was thinking about, and this does not appear to be it, so that sucks. Let me get myself back on screen here. Um, the one thing that caught my attention, caught my eye, was it mentioning about what do you call it, like a preview window. So when you want to look at your emails, you're still looking at your emails. You get a preview window over here. Much the same way that you would get in Microsoft's what do they call their mail? I haven't opened
Outlook.
it in a long time. Outlook. I haven't
Outlook.
opened it in a long time. And here's what I was like, that's always a great idea. I always love it. But the first thing that popped into my head when I read it, believe it or not, was actually that was what they did in the very first iteration of Gmail in the first place. In fact, it was one of the greatest looking email apps they ever made. And when they finally decided to change it years later, or about 10 years ago, the first thing that happened was people said, "What are you doing?" And don't get me wrong, I like it because the way it's laid out and the way it's easy to find anything. And now you got all the search, and now you got Gemini to look at stuff for you and help you.
Yeah.
It's better than it's ever been and getting better. But that one thing was always my pet peeve. Now, this doesn't account for on the phone because it doesn't work that way on a phone. It might work that way on a
preview
tablet.
pane. I never use preview pane on any.
No, I love the preview pane. The preview pane
trash.
Was great for me at work. I loved it at work. It was the great because I could just literally quickly get to what I wanted. Look at, no, I don't need to see that, blah, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong. Having Gemini with or without a preview pane is superior because you can quite literally say, I was talking to Bob at Lucky Charms warehouse. Sorry, I just saw my little box of cereal over there, and I couldn't think of anything else. Lucky Charms warehouse, and I can't find the email that he sent to me on February 7th of this year. And Gemini will go, "Hey, it's right here." Well, it won't tell that quite.
Yeah,
like that,
I've never noticed that because it's in the Gmail settings. I never noticed that was in there.
I haven't looked at it. Wait, you didn't notice what was in there?
The option to do a reading pane. I never knew that was in there. It's at the very bottom of the Gmail settings.
Yeah, let me.
So when you click the little gear cog at the top and scroll all the way to the bottom under quick settings.
I'd love to get into it and look at it, but it's not letting
right
me get in.
Oh,
they have changed this. This looks ridiculously different. Okay, where is it? Sorry.
If you click the cog at the top, little gear settings, open up your quick and scroll to the bottom of it. Yeah, it'll let you open up a preview pane to the right or below.
Reading pane. Right of inbox. Below. Okay, I've always liked it right of inbox. Let's see what happens. Am I going to hate this? I might. I'm not going to lie to you because it's not made up the same way as it used to be. Yeah, see, I can't read the thing. So this doesn't make any sense to me this way now. What's this one? Yeah, no, I don't. You know what? Normally I do like it. If I was working, I would like this. For my personal email, I do not like it. I need to put this back now.
I don't like it for any email. I turn it off immediately. That's the first thing I make sure and turn off anytime I have to set up a new computer.
Even in Outlook?
100%. I hate it. It's trash. Half the time,
there's something wrong with you.
No,
I'm
nothing
kidding.
wrong with me.
No, I like it. But you know what? Everybody's different. The fact that you can turn it off or on, in this case, is good. Like I said, I think it's a great idea. A lot of people do like it. A lot of people love it. I thought I was going to like it, but as soon as I saw it, I realized I would actually have to make my text so small to make it actually work that it would be illegible and make no sense.
Well, I just have had more people with issues dealing with, like, I've had people, like, for example, in the preview pane, when you click on an email, let's say it has an Excel sheet in it, they open the email, or they don't open it. They just click on it. It highlights it. They go, "Oh, I have an Excel sheet." And they open the Excel sheet right out of the email and they start editing the Excel sheet. Well, that Excel sheet, it's not actually editing it in a permanent environment. It's editing it in a temp file. So if that Excel crashes, you lose all your edits because it's not, unless you've saved it manually. It's not saved. I can't tell you how many times I go, oh, I was working on this for an hour and then like something crashed and now all my edits are gone. Can you get it back? I'm like, well, did you save it first? No, I just opened it out of my email. I'm like, can't do anything with you. And also, and not so much anymore, but it used to be early on in the virus days that they were scripting things to run in the preview pane because technically that's opening the email. So when you click it and you highlight it, it opens the email that you would have a virus be able to execute in that reading pane execution. So I've never used it. Stretch.
Okay, well, I don't. The stories. Basically, in your line of work, just so as anybody out there watching or listening knows, he must have stories everywhere. Yeah, and not that this has anything to do with what we're talking about, but I can guarantee you, without ever having even asked you this question, I guarantee you on at least one, if not multiple occasions, you've discovered for whatever reason that someone is using one of those really stupid passwords like AAAA or 1234 or some stupid thing like that, and being almost completely unsecure.
Well, fortunately, all of our clients don't get to do that because we removed the ability to.
So much for
that.
my guarantee. You made a liar out of me.
We put in place certain like minimum requirements for passwords, so you can't.
Oh, okay. So you
can't even use part of your name like
in the first place, right?
You can't use Lionel 965 Toronto like that. You wouldn't be able to do that because it's got your name in it.
So we can't use the password United We Stand, Divided We Podcast, Robert Lionel?
Probably not. No, yeah. Oh, the exclamation point. That doesn't. No one will guess that.
No one will figure that one out. Can you put an exclamation point at the end of your password? So
now we talked passwords last time, though, and how the pass keys are definitely a more secure way to go for sure. But yeah, it's interesting they put it in there, but I've not had anybody that I know of that uses it. Nobody even knows about it because it's buried at the bottom of that. No one even goes in there. So, it is what it is.
All right.
But one thing that I find interesting, continue on Google, and I sent this to you earlier, and it's funny that half the time it seems like we both are reading the same articles at the same exact time, or within minutes.
Quite freaky. I was literally going to send you that exact same, well, not the same article. It was the same subject from two different sources, but the exact same material.
And I find this interesting that Google is now going to be bringing their Android OS development more behind closed doors, and the only ASOP is going to be like stuff that's like more developed, like not ready to release, I suppose, but more developed. They're not letting you have like early preview stuff anymore. So I think that's actually good. I think it allows them to have a lot more control and restraint on what's happening, and not having to worry about pushing it out or dealing with,
Well, to make it a little bit more clear about what we're talking about, when they're developing, like for instance, right now they're developing Android 16, right? They're on beta 3 or something like that. First beta, I've got hit beta 3, and I didn't put my first, older phone on yet. I'm waiting for one more beta, I think, to do it this time. But in any case, normally by now, what Google would have done is they would start publishing part of it to AOSP, but just bits and pieces here and there to help develop it. But what that ended up causing over the years, well, almost decades now, you say it that way now, is other manufacturers and developers to start developing off of that. And so when the final version of whichever version of Android came out, then matching everything up to it would take even longer, and there would be other issues, and it would delay their versions of the operating system. And to be honest with you, I honestly wonder if this is one of the reasons why for years Samsung was one of the slowest to get theirs out because they were not only contributing a lot to AOSP, but they were doing a lot of it in conjunction with part of that code being released by Google before they did the main body of the code. And now they're basically saying, no, we're going to keep this thing private and then we're going to put it out. Now, when they say put it out, they're pretty much mean at the beta or possibly even at the first actual alpha. They don't mean pre-alpha because clearly they want Samsung and I was going to say Huawei, but not them. They want Samsung and OnePlus and whoever else to get their versions of the latest operating system out as soon as possible. And that's kind of the point. So this is why they're doing this. So when they're ready to do this, everyone can develop completely off the correct code and point to everything that they have to develop in conjunction with it at that actual version of the operating system.
Right. It says here that one of the main benefits to Google is that they're going to have a less problematic build cycle, but it allows them to says it isn't changing the speed at which these new builds arrive. Rather, this will potentially streamline the process and prevent conflicts when merging the branches. And that makes total sense. So when they bring, all these different, segments together, it's going to streamline that whole process, which again makes total sense. Everything has, pros and cons, everyone's like, oh, open source. And yeah, open source has some great benefits to it, but there is a dark side, so to speak, to open source, right? Is that everybody and their uncle can build shit for it, right?
Right.
And you get all these custom things running that you can't control it. So again, it's everything has its pluses and minuses, and I don't know. We'll see. I seriously doubt this is going to affect, like you and I, since we don't really get into the whole, hey, let's put a new ROM on my phone today and blow it up tomorrow.
Even if you do, that's still not the issue because the ROMs were never even done until after the betas were finished because they don't want to make ROMs off of incomplete betas in the first place. So if you remember back in the days when all of us all did that, the ROMs came out sometimes months later for some of them. Some of them, some of the really quick ones would be 6 to 8 weeks later. It was very rare you'd get a ROM for, Android 10, for instance, didn't have a ROM for it on day one. It was weeks later. But nonetheless, there's just, it's like you said, it's not going to affect you, me, and your average Joe consumer or anything like that. It might make it better for us because other other manufacturers might get their versions of the OS current one on their latest devices faster.
Right. It even says here,
that's a good thing. So
in the end, users of Android most certainly won't even see any changes with this new structure. App developers will also likely be unaffected. The biggest impact may be the tidbits caught from AOSP that make their way into the public eye, such as the recent appearance of Pixel 10 in an AOSP commit, which is, programming mumbo jumbo. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting though, that they're kind of, moving more, not in the closed garden or whatever, walled garden or whatever that, Apple has.
It's not really a walled garden because it's not a tight-in system. However, it should be noted for anybody that, says, oh, well, that's Google, it's Android, it's supposed to be open source. Let's be clear.
It is.
Android, no, AOSP is open source. That's the Android. Wait, how does it stand for again? What's the matter with me? But Android, the operating system itself, as a completed operating system, no matter what version, is not an open source operating system. It is made from open source components or the main body.
Which is
but
why
it
you
is
can
not
have
an open source format.
manufacturers like
Exactly.
OnePlus.
But you cannot take a full version of Android already done and do whatever you want with it. You need to
No.
take the AOSP and do what you want with
Right.
it. I can't rip Android off of my Pixel and then skin it and tell everybody, oh, yeah, I made this. This is your new ROM. Google.
Yeah.
Can
And again, that's why you get all these other like third-party phone manufacturers able to run Android but basically with their own tweaks, because they're taking that core stuff and they're just building their own shit on top of it.
Right.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I think I honestly think it's a good move. I think it's going to help. I personally think it's going to help eliminate some of the bugs maybe that come out at the actual public release. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it's going to help them internally.
I don't know if it's going to go that far to be able to eliminate the bugs at public release. But
I think it allows them to control more early on without having to worry about
that I believe, because there will be. I mean, it's not going to eliminate, but I do believe that we may see less serious bugs and less of them. Simply put, because like you said, part of the thing is that. Like you said, they throw some of this stuff out there and some of that gets put into it. And sometimes it looks good and they go, okay, well, let's put it back. Let's use it. But they didn't have access to what Google had been working on for the last 6 months. So they don't know what this is actually going to be, it's the same reason why some developers put out something and, it's like, oh, well, it was for last year's. It should work perfectly fine. But they never bothered to test it with Android 15. They only tested it with Android 14, despite the fact that 15 was out. Even though you can do it with an emulator, if you can't do it with a real phone, they do have the emulators for it and debugging everything. And I know this sounds weird, but yes, there are lazy developers who fail to debug. So if you're not doing that, right? And unfortunately, because it's not a walled garden, and this is where Apple does get it mostly right most of the time, is an app development. Without that walled garden and that security, if you will, there are, well, I was going to say hundreds of thousands, but at this point, it's like there's probably many hundreds of thousands of apps that may not all be technically harmful, but definitely will irritate you way more than you'll enjoy them. So
because they're scrapped together. They're just. I stay away from shit like that. I don't.
My advice. I mean, I used to put almost anything on my phone because I just didn't care. I figured, with worst case scenario, I'll just either put on a ROM or just wipe the phone and start again, whatever, right? We've talked about this before. You reach a certain age and just want your phone to work.
Yeah, you don't want to have to fool with it every
10
week.
years from now, I might want a flip phone. I don't know, right?
with numbers about that bigger, just big giant squares.
Hang on, I got to text you. 777. 4444 33 99 8888. Oh, that was only one word. T9 texting. Anybody remember that? Yeah, let's go back in time. T9 texting. I'm gonna do a quick thing here because I need to say this. I want to make sure everyone knows that right now you're listening to me on the MXL 990 microphone that cost me a whopping $55 Canadian, used but in mint condition. And it is fabulous because I can do that smooth, low tone. There, I did my little thing. Now, I love this thing, by the way. Yes, this is my second new mic in a very short period of time. But I came across this accidentally. I mean, literally, I was in a swap shop, and there it was. So I got it. And how does it sound?
Well, as I told you earlier, it sounds perfectly fine.
They don't know. Sound. You told me this earlier. You got to make it look like we haven't had this conversation before.
No, because everybody knows we've had this conversation like 19 times in all the previous
times. What are you talking about? 19 times? I just got it. This is our first.
I'm talking about all the other mics. How does it sound? How does it sound?
Oh,
new mic. How does it sound?
But this one, I'm 100% happy with. And the best part is because I now
Good.
also have my brand new. There we go. Wait, I gotta get it into the picture. Yeah, I forgot the brand name, but the model is
Vocaster.
Vocaster One. That's not the brand name. That's the model.
No.
It's Focusrite. Sorry, Focusrite Vocaster One. It's excellent, and for the first time in a very long time, I can self monitor on here instead of having to listen to myself echoed
That's
from the feed.
worst.
That
echo is terrible.
Worst, so.
I can't even do it. I mean, I end up like having to like stop and listen to myself and then talking. It's
Yes.
it's
And
like
I
so
honestly,
bad.
it went on for so long that I actually got used to it. But
so bad.
even when I got this, I still couldn't figure some stuff out because there's a bunch of things you have to go into different programs and switch stuff around to make sure it works properly. And I finally got it. Everything. And the weird thing is now I know how to use it properly. And I love it. And so I'm having a ball with this. I'm having a ball with that. And it's all great. By the way, I still can't see the time up here on this. For those of you wondering, yeah, we have a timer that tells us how much time we have left in the program.
I don't understand why you can't see that.
I don't know. It's a very strange thing. I think we might have to email somebody and find out what's going on. Get tech support on the line.
It has to do with your just the resolution doesn't show it or something. But we're 30 minutes in.
Oh wow! Okay, well we've been kicking it and getting a lot of stuff talked about.
Time flies.
God, we're not going to run out of time. Maybe we can start talking about professional wrestling or something. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, to stick on the whole, Android Apple situation, and I don't have to talk a long time on this, but I found this to be interesting because it's always been king. Everyone thinks Apple's like the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I think they're losing some customers right now.
From 2023 to 2024, Apple Watch sales have declined 19%. That's significant.
Oh,
all those people are going to Wear OS. Between Samsung, Huawei, there's a couple. I don't know how you pronounce it. Yami.
Oh, it's not going in focus. You're not mentioning this one? No, this guy right here. Come on, man.
I'm talking the others than the obvious.
Some of them have gone to Pixel Watch. Pixel Watch may not be a top 10 seller for crying out loud, but they're actually getting a little bit more popular, and they're doing quite good, and you know it. And sorry about if I'm making mic noise. I bumped it, so now I have to move.
Well, ironically, and I don't know how to pronounce this name, so forgive me. Xiaomi or whatever that name is.
Xiaomi.
Okay, Xiaomi has seen 100.
Yeah.
No idea. They've seen 135% increase.
Yeah, but
that's huge.
That's a bit deceiving. There are like 1.2 or 3 or whatever billion people in China, and like 40% of them are buying Xiaomi phones. It's kind of like going to South Korea and being surprised that 85% of the South Koreans are using a Samsung phone. I mean, it's, in America, it's like 65 or something percent have iPhones, especially young people, where it's actually 85 or so percent. In Canada,
I'll be honest with you,
it's a little bit different. iPhones are more like around 45%, about 80%.
I've seen some of their phones, as well as the Huawei phones, that look pretty badass. That I wouldn't mind actually.
Honestly, they all make really good stuff.
You can't get them here, so. They
without
having some black channel, you can't get them. You can't just order it.
They like I said, they make good hardware. You can watch anybody's reviews where they do get their hands on some of these things, or if they're in Europe and you watch a European YouTuber doing a review or something.
And I'm wondering,
they make good stuff, and they can be highly touted. Like it's like, oh, I love it, and the build quality. battery, the charging speed, the software, better than the thing. But to my dying day, there's a reason I take a Pixel anyways.
Well, it makes me wonder
Google's.
too if since Apple really flopped with their whole Apple AI or whatever they're calling it, Apple Intelligence, because it's garbage. It's truly garbage. I've read bad things, and of course
because they have never actually launched it. All they did was put out a couple of tiny little things.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, it's just a little Chat GPT overlay. That's it, and it doesn't even do that much.
Yes, but the Wear OS AI in Android, whether it's phone, watch, whatever, it works phenomenal. So, I mean, I'm sure that's having a lot. Well, I think it's probably having something to do with.
I'm sorry. Did you say AI in Wear OS?
Yeah, Gemini.
You have Gemini on your phone? I mean, on your watch?
They're bringing it into Wear OS. What are you talking about?
Oh, you made it sound like you already had it. I was about to block you because I was.
Well, we are in the
jealous.
U.S. We are in the U.S. over here.
If I have to be that jealous, I'm going to block you. I want Gemini on my watch, and I want it now. I want it now. Start throwing a fit or something.
Well, I'm sure there's things built into the Samsung watch from the Samsung's baked in with their AI, but it's basically Gemini that isn't in a Pixel watch, possibly.
Well, I know it's coming, but it's a question. Speaking of things coming, you know what? This is a good segue this time. Where is Project Astra? I want Project Astra, and I want it now. Yeah, because they say, into the month, and I hate it when they promise you. They promise you, and today is already the 26th. There are only 4 more days after today.
Yeah, I don't.
Are you waiting till the last possible second? If you tell me you got it, I'm going to throw a fit.
Yeah, see, I mean, I still don't have it.
Okay, all right, that's good. No offense.
Yeah.
By the way, apparently it has been on an extremely slow rollout, and I think the reason it's not going really big is they've probably discovered a couple of minor issues with the 6 or 7 people they've allowed to have it so far.
6 or 7. All Google employees.
Possibly. But I'm looking forward to it because, honestly, right now the closest you can get to that is taking a picture and then putting it into Gemini Live, and it immediately starts talking to you about it. So it can keep talking to you about it. But again, that's not a live picture. And interestingly enough, if you continue to talk long enough, it may forget what the hell you were talking about, and you have to remind it about the picture. So the Project Astra version of this, where you actually use a live picture while talking to it, it can't forget because you're constantly showing on the screen a live, actual picture, not still picture, but video. So you can say,
I took a picture the other day.
I've misplaced my microphone. Where is it?
Yeah, I took a picture the day of the trash can I had in my bathroom, and it was really surprised me though when I took the picture and I told Gemini, let's talk about this live, and it analyzed the picture. It even said, "Oh, this looks like a small trash can in your bathroom," and of course it had a red liner and obviously things it could obviously see, but it's like, how did it know it was in the bathroom? Because all you saw was like a little bit of the floor and like the corner of the wall. That's it. Like you didn't see any sinks or tub or nothing like that. So I'm like, how did you know it was in the bathroom? I found that to be kind of like, It's like, oh, you have a tile floor and you have, this, it's in the corner and the bag is wrinkled and it looks like there's some white tissue paper in it. It's like, okay.
Oh, wait a minute. You're making that last part up.
No.
Okay. Listen,
I'm not. It's just what it said.
I'm going to give you a demonstration of this right now. I just took a picture of my mic and my audio interface. So I'm going to attach it right now and hit talk about this live.
All right. I see a Rodecaster 1 in the foreground. It looks like you're setting up a podcasting or recording session. Do you have any questions about it?
No, I just wanted to see if you knew what was happening. So I'm actually doing a podcast. Can you see part of the TV screen where I'm doing the podcast in the background?
I can see the TV screen in the background. It looks like you're video conferencing with someone while recording your podcast.
That is correct.
Is that right?
Yes, that would be my co-host.
That's really cool that you're podcasting with a co-host remotely. What's the name of your podcast? And what do you talk about?
United We Stand, Divided We Podcast. And we were thinking that maybe Gemini Live would like to be a guest on our podcast.
That's so cool that you thought of us. We're always learning new things about the world.
I'm sorry. Wait, hang on. Did you just say us? Are you Borg?
No, I'm not Borg.
So
I'm a large language model.
Does that mean resistance is not futile?
Are you part of a hive?
I understand your reference to the Borg, but I'm not quite sure what you mean by resistance is not futile.
I was making a joke. I was making a joke because I asked you if you wanted to be on our podcast.
I understand now. That's a fun idea. I'm always up for interesting conversations. What kind of topics do you usually cover on your podcast?
Well, wait a minute. We're on right now. So we're the ones asking the questions. You're the one who needs to answer. So my podcast partner, you won't be able to hear him, but he wants to know if you can just stop talking now so we can go on with the podcast.
Sure thing. I'm looking forward to hearing your...
And of course it keeps going on, so I cut it off.
Yeah.
It's a sure thing. Blah, 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 blah. I literally just told it to shut up. And it's like, okay, I'll stop talking right now. But let me first tell you why I'm still talking.
Yeah, it's kind of like when
Gemini's great, though. I love it, though.
It's kind of like when I unsubscribe to a newsletter and then it'll say, okay, we're never going to send you any more emails except for this last email to tell you we're not going to send you any more emails.
Yeah, and then the other one and then the next email after that says, "Can you please tell us why you didn't find any more emails?"
Block. Yeah. Ludicrous.
Oh man, where are we at for time right now? Sorry for having to ask.
No, we're
fine.
We're fine. It's 42 minutes, but AI stuff, and I know you haven't really looked at it much, but I still have all those pro credits. Remember when I was doing that Hedra testing?
Yeah.
So I still have access to do whatever I want, any length I want. And man, I tell you what, the new Hedra 3 or Hedra 3, wow. I think I shared one thing with you, but there's been some stuff that's been coming out that's just like,
I'm not
like that podcast thing. I was like, I mean, yeah, you can obviously tell, and there's things like the microphones floating.
That podcast one, it was kind of sort of impressive to some extent, but there's still so many issues with how it does it. But the problem is because it's human and they're trying to do too much all at once. If they just change the programming so that all of this didn't happen with a phone in your hand and a fork in your hand and all that kind of stuff, just have them maybe wave their hands a little like this and put them back down on the desk.
It's really, to me, the creation of their face, the clothes, the podcast equipment,
much
and
improved.
The mouth movements are much smoother. You couldn't do this 6 months ago,
right?
Yeah,
Google's Gemini. Part of it's I guess it's part of the whole Gemini thing. They're very soon. Apparently this is coming at the end of the month. And this one is another one of their guarantees that I probably won't get for 6 months. But anyways, you'll be able to do video generation from the app, much the way you can do the picture generation right now. And I think that's awesome. Knowing Google, you won't be able to do anything with people at all. It'll only be flamingos, like in the.
Well, your beavers got a lot of attention on the internet, so
but that wasn't
it's not a video, it's an animation though. But
I don't remember where I did that, but I obviously didn't do that with Gemini because Gemini doesn't do that yet. I don't remember where I did that, but it is
Yeah, because
funny. I mean,
yeah.
two of the beavers weren't moving; they were still, and the other two were kind of half like moving, but it's like their legs weren't actually touching the ground.
Well, it's got to use partially that because that was through YouTube. Remember, they allowed you to do the generation thing through the YouTube Create, the studio.
What?
Yeah, that's where you generated that. Because remember, I did a short, and you did another one. I created a short.
Was that
where
what it was?
The guy was driving, and I went, "What the?" And then you created the one with the beavers. It was through the YouTube.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I had only just discovered that you could do that day.
So it's got to be using something within that
yes.
Gemini model,
Yeah, it's probably well, it's not really Gemini because Gemini doesn't do it. It's a different model that Gemini calls upon to do it. Much like they.
Well, that's what I meant. That's what I'm saying. It's got to be part of that whole process of the video side of things.
I honestly I doubt it because I think the one that they're working on, that they're releasing to us, is going to be a lot better than that. Because that really wasn't that good, to be honest with you. I mean, it nailed the theme of what I asked it to do, but the generation was terrible.
The generation I had it do with a guy driving the car through the countryside
in like 2 days,
was like
had 500 views, and I've never had a video get more than 80 views in like 10 years. So I should make a bunch of those, and I can be wealthy in a couple of years, man. I do is tell AI to make a bunch of videos that for some reason somebody's thinking, "Oh my God, I got to go visit Canada. I didn't know that beavers walk down the street."
Yes, they build beaver dams across the road so no cars can cross. Oh God! No, it's I mean, it's some cool stuff for sure, and I've seen apparently within the Hydra system they have all these different generation tools you can use, not just the Hydra. That you can, I've seen some like mini movies come out there. Like I'm just like, holy shit, that's amazing. So it's
some of them are nice, but like I said. I still see so many flaws in it that I just keep working on it. I'm dying to see this actually go somewhere and get better. Has it gotten better in the last year? Hell yeah. I mean,
10x
some of those models are able to do the whole Will Smith spaghetti thing pretty well now. Whereas
we started playing around with Hydra when we first found it. It was only like they had only been out for 2 months or something. That's how I got in that
something like that
alpha beta program, because I messaged one of the developers, but it was so obviously crap back then. Now it's like, I don't know. To me, it's like 10x, 100x better than it was when it first started. And they're pushing out hard, and they're doing some really cool stuff. I still am part of the Discord, and he's very active. The actual lead engineer / CEO of the company is very active in his Discord channel, which is really cool to see. And
absolutely, I agree.
Really pushing
it's
forward.
Nice because you can interact, and also it's kind of nice because he's talking to people who are obviously trying it out and basically testing it.
Yeah, so and he'll respond. If you tag him, he'll respond to you. And he's been very, very active. I've been really impressed.
Could you imagine if Google did that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey man, I'm having issues with my Pixel phone, and within seconds, Sundar Pichai is on there going, "Oh my God, let me see if I can get the code written for it, fix it."
Right.
Message you back, do a DM you like 3 hours later. Yeah, we just pushed out the update. Thanks for letting us know.
Another tool, this the Centra AI that I showed a couple podcasts ago, that my 12 employees.
Yes, yeah, right.
It has image generation. Of course, it uses ChatGPT image tool, but like I can. So, for example, I took the script from one of my videos. It wasn't a long video, and I said, "Hey, can you generate me a YouTube thumbnail with an image that relates to this contextual information?" And I pasted in there, hit enter, and a few minutes later, it generated an image that was like literally spot on to what I was kind of like, man, that's what I was like trying to do in other tools, but couldn't get it to do it. And it just popped it right out. I told it, okay, that's excellent. Let's change, correct the spelling of this word and then add these words. And it like fixed it perfectly. And I just, spelling has always been a big issue. They can't ever seem to spell. They're super smart, but they can't spell a damn, word. So, but it fixed it perfect. And I was really amazed. And I actually used the thumbnail and I ran it through a tool I use in my vidIQ that it looks at the thumbnail. It looks at the video you're applying it to see how it correlates, composition. It looks at colors and it kind of gives you like a clickability like rating. And it actually was like in the 93 percentile, like, hey, this is a pretty good clickable thumbnail. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to use that one. So, because thumbnails, I'm terrible. I'm not a good thumbnail designer. So these tools that give me the ability to create these awesome thumbnails, I'm all about it.
Oh yeah. I actually agree. I think a best thumbnail we could do for this one is show a Dodge Charger with a Canadian dollar sign on it. Not for sale. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Or put 25% over instead of off.
Yeah.
On the Dodge Charger.
That reminds me.
Idea, so.
That reminds me back in COVID. We were right just before it all went haywire. We had been looking for my wife a car, and she wanted a plug-in hybrid. And so we narrowed it down. She said, hey, I really like this Volvo. It's an XC90. They have a plug-in hybrid. I've never purchased a Volvo. I don't even know that I've ever driven a Volvo, but I mean, they've always been nice cars. I like the way they look.
Fantastic.
And it's phenomenal. Yeah. We fell in love with that car as soon as we drove it, but in the process of looking, so we looked at Volvo. She like, oh, the Lexus looks okay too. It was like a 450 EH or something like that. So we called a dealership in Georgia, in Atlanta. And we said, hey, we see you have this blah, blah, blah. And it's $59,000. Yeah. And blah, blah, blah. She said, oh yeah, it's a really nice car. It's brand new. And she said, MSRP is 59 and the asking price is like 75. I'm like, I was like, what? What? She's like, well, she says there's a $15,000 market adjustment because, everybody was raking people over the coals for cars during COVID because you couldn't get anything in. God. And I said, $15,000 market adjustment. I said, oh, okay. I said, oh, that's right. I said, that's cool. So you're going to give me $15,000 more for my trade-in? Oh, no. That's just for our car. I was like, no. You don't understand. If you're going to charge me 15 grand more, then you got to give me 15 grand more to even it all out because that's bullshit. I was like, that's robbery. I flat out said, you guys are stealing money from people. I was like, there's another dealer.
That? I would be like, I'm going somewhere else. Why
people
would
paying it left and right. So we found a Volvo it was a demo unit, had 5,000 miles on it. It looked and still smelled brand new. No.
You can drive a Volvo for twice as long as other brands.
Yeah. It was in Atlanta, and I said, there's a Volvo that's not far from you at a Volvo dealership that's 500 over MSRP right now. I said, you absolutely have lost a sale, and you're probably losing many sales, ripping people off. Okay, well, if you ever, if you want to look at it again, I was like, I'm not ever looking at your cars. I will never step foot on your dealership, ever.
Just to put this into perspective, by the way, folks, this is a story that has nothing to do with tariffs. So imagine the market. What do you call it? Market adjustment.
What do you call it?
Market adjustment. Yes.
That's what she called it.
Imagine a market adjustment on top of a tariff. Or vice versa. Yeah. So the tariff at first and then do a market adjustment, not down. Oh no. Yeah.
Well, a $50,000 car is going to cost you what, $12,000. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, COVID was terrible for market adjustments.
Yeah. many adjustments.
Yeah. I mean, you remember the whole toilet paper fiasco. I mean, that was worldwide, but it wasn't just in the States, if anybody thinks that. No, I at first I thought people were joking or they were just sensationalizing. I went to the store and we had plenty of toilet paper, so I didn't really care. But I went into the toilet paper aisle. There was not a single roll of toilet paper in the aisle.
Yeah, we actually
Paper
had
towel was gone.
stores
People were
here
buying-
with people like
people were-
monitoring.
People were buying paper towel to wipe their butts because they couldn't get toilet paper.
Yeah. Yeah, people were monitoring the toilet paper aisles in the grocery stores here. It was insane, and of course we always kept like 2 or 3 extra packs, always anyways.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, I said, man, we need to like put an alarm on our toilet paper because someone's going to break in and steal
Just
our
for the toilet paper.
$9,000 worth of toilet
They're
paper.
not going to care about your car. They're not going to care about your food, your gold watch, or
They're
your
gonna take our
jewelry,
toilet
your
paper.
diamonds. They just want the toilet paper. Oh, the bathroom, and they will take the one out of your hand that you're still using.
But people, you realize that you can wash your ass with a washcloth and some water. Worst case scenario, and some soap, right? Like,
You know what's really weird? Baby wipes didn't start running out until the toilet paper was actually back on the shelves. I'm like, why aren't you idiots just buying baby wipes? Because you use a little bit less toilet paper and then you do a nice clean wipe. Done. I mean, this is something that people have been doing for decades anyways. And we're talking about something gross here. So let's but
this conversation just goes off the rails.
Seriously, it's just ridiculous. Or we could all be more like a lot of Europeans and just use a freaking bidet. They sell them at hardware stores, for God's sake.
Yeah, wiping your ass was the least of my worries during all of that.
I know, right? Like, I don't care if I get sick. I just have to make sure I have some toilet paper while I am. No, yeah. We must be
Insane.
getting close to time. I'm not even sure. Because, again, I can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, we have a few
Recording
minutes,
time
but
0.
I want to mention something, that little public service announcement for some people. I don't know if this, I'm sure people in Canada did this, but 23andMe is a company that does ancestral lookup, history stuff where you can give them your DNA and they'll look back in your history and tell you who your ancestors were and blah blah blah. Well, they're filing for bankruptcy, Chapter 11, which is leaving the database, all of the DNA data they have stored, basically up for sale to the highest bidder. And so the worry is that obviously you're going to have some nefarious actors trying to buy this DNA information. So just people, look, if you have a 23andMe account, go close it, cancel it, download your data, delete it, whatever they let you do. I don't know. I don't do any of those. I never have, never will. But 23andMe filing Chapter 11. All their shit's up for sale. If you've done 23andMe genetic data testing,
Okay.
your shit's up for sale.
I have to say, according to CBC, their big headline, what happens to your DNA data now that 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy? Company says genetic data could be sold to other companies, but will remain protected. Now, let me see if it says if they specify anything about here. Blah, 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 genetic, blah, 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 blah. Heard from readers this week, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm just trying to find something.
They're all they say is like, they're saying, oh, well, we'll try to find somebody if they're going to buy it that has the same values as we do. You can't control that. You and I could go buy it and go, oh, we promise we will never. And then as soon as the deal's done, it's sold off to the highest black hat.
Yeah, let's see what it says here. Okay. But the company's privacy policy says the data could be sold to other firms. 23andMe says customer data will remain protected in its recently updated privacy policies. The company writes that if it is involved in a bankruptcy, merger, acquisition, reorganization, or sale of assets, your personal information may be accessed, sold, or transferred as part of the transaction, and this privacy statement will apply to your personal information as transferred to the new entity, meaning that whoever purchases it or takes over, whatever, has to actually abide by the same privacy policy that they currently have. In other words, they wouldn't be able to just willy-nilly sell your data outside of its current use.
You don't know who's in that company.
Wait a minute, no.
And they've already been hacked. They've already been hacked. Their data already got breached.
True, but so is everybody. So that's not even what I'm talking about. Let's not go there yet. We'll go there in a minute. But
you need to protect your shit.
Basically, just to confirm this, did you say this was a Canadian company?
No. I said, I don't know. I said, I'm sure people in Canada did the genetic
That's
testing.
what I thought.
I didn't say it's a Canadian company. No.
All right.
I don't know where they're based out of.
Then I can't speak for anything. I was just going to tell you about Canadian laws and why your data would technically be just as safe with or without the merger, notwithstanding being hacked. But other than that, but as an American company, I can't tell you.
I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust any of that.
There is zero amount of any legality issues regarding the U.S. that I would trust worth a damn right now, because it only takes somebody to write on a piece of paper that I said so. It like watching the king, 500 years ago say something like, well, I'm going to change this and do that because I said so. And because I said so, there will be no contestation. But you know what? That's my rant for today.
A PSA to tell people: look, if you have your shit out there, if it were me, I would go delete all my shit.
For God's sake! I knew we should have ended it 30 seconds ago.
1 hour, 1 minute.
Yeah, exactly. So you take us out of here so they don't have to watch. In fact, take us out.
All right. Well, you saw he left, and it's another fun time here on United We Stand, Divided We Podcast. He was Lionel from Toronto. I'm Robert from the U.S., and we'll catch you next time. Peace.